Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a live stream with me, Hunter. What's up? Nice to see you all. Hello again. We're going to be doing some rule crafting today, and we're going to be going over town management. I'm going to be trying to flesh things out a little bit more. And firstly, this is perhaps a little bit of a sneak peek for our new map. Now, this might look a little bit different. It is a little bit different. This is Tarm from a slightly different angle. And down here, we've got a little bit of a fishing pond. Ooh, Temple of Rye. I'll put that there. That needs to obviously be changed. Some of these markers are a bit all over the place, but we'll gradually move them back into position as we go. As you can see, I've changed the map a little bit. We now have some crops to the south of town. We've got some carts picking fruit, vegetables, God knows what's growing there. They look like giant carrots, but that's fine. A little bit of a training ground for Lothar. This is where our troops will be trained currently, at least. There's nothing else that's here. Obviously, loads of spare logs because look, they've been logging. They've been logging loads. Map making's kind of fun. I might have spent about 3 hours just going through taking care of that last night. We have the road to Blue Rock up here. Wonderful. Captain Lambert's poking around with his broken leg. He's fine. He's fine. And here we have the town. So bailiff, doink, gone. We need to just change a few bits here. So there's a couple things to update. I'll just quickly, I'll tell you what, we'll go through the rules and then we'll start going through the town. So to put today's theory crafting into practice, this will be a system that's primarily geared towards Warhammer Fantasy, but you could probably translate it into any system. I'll try and make it fairly agnostic. And I'm kind of making it up as we go. Now, the first thing you need to understand is for our economy here is, as you can see, I've done a little bit of management. I've done a little bit of prettifying of my bestiary, so I now have Tarm Campaign, and I can now click Tarm Outlaws. I can click on Trade and Staff, so this is where the artisans will be, as well as servants, etc. But we have State Troops, so if I need a State Troop, if I need to just quickly pull out a handgunner, here's a handgunner. It says Tarm Spearman. I haven't updated all the tokens yet. Lots to do, but we'll gradually get there, just so I've got an entire arsenal here of troops at my disposal. But we've got Skaven, we've got undead here as well. Lots of different undead enemies we can pick out quickly, and if I need to throw a combat that I'm not expecting at a player, I can do so relatively easily. But anyway, more important, we come to the town and we go through the actual economics of how it works. So what we've done is we've made a weapon for each of the actual industries. Now, it could be a skill. I went with a weapon because there are certain traits you can put on weapons that modify the dice automatically, which just means everything's done for me. So let me explain to you what I mean by this. So if we go for trappings and we look at fishing, fishing is dangerous, which means you have double the chance of a fumble. And different industries will be dangerous in my campaign depending on what's going on. If, for example, something came down from the mountains to the east, then shepherdry would be dangerous until it is dealt with. Currently, up north, there is not many safe places to fish, so fishing is dangerous. You get my drift. There is hunting and the Tarm folk. It's always dangerous for them, but that's okay. That's okay. And what I've put thus far is a fumble results in basically a loss of NPCs equating to the negative SL. So tile hunters will probably, 1 in every 3 sessions, some of the hunters will die because they're now going out into the woods, and, well, I've put it as dangerous. You'll find out why soon enough. But anyway, so that's kind of that. That's how that works. But we've also got, say, blacksmithing, which is it requires a smithy and B source of minerals, but also damaging. So if we click on damaging, it means if you pass your town's blacksmithing test, you can basically swap the amount of SL you get, which is basically the... Well, let's actually just roll a dice and I'll explain it to you, because for those that aren't familiar with Warhammer Fantasy, you're probably thinking, what the piss? What the hell are you talking about? So we'll just roll an average test, because it should always be average. It will be melee basic, because that's what I've tied this to. Right, 78. So negative SL, nothing gained. But what would happen if we rolled a 38? Okay, that is still a negative. Oh, is that actually... Oh yeah, they don't have a smithy yet. Okay, so we're going to have to make this an 18. Because they don't have a smithy. They like, this is a hard thing to actually make any money with. So, what would happen here is we have two tens digits above, so that gives us an SL of 2. However, we can swap that with the unit dice, the 8, meaning we have 8 damage done. Now, it's obviously not damage done. In this case, it's gold crown earned. So this is how we earn money. We basically roll for each industry at the end of every session. I'll do this in the streams so you can see, and we'll see how much money the town has earned. We'll see how many people have died in the town. The whole thing will probably take about 20 seconds to do. We would basically go through, do an average test for fishing. We would do an average test for you. Everything will be average unless there's specific narrative events that change that. And we would just keep going through. I can obviously do this all on a macro, which helps as well. But then that won't be able to factor in the various modifiers that we might have. And hunting. Oh, sexy. Hunting should not require ammo, so we'll change that. Effects, bow, dice row, tarm, hunting. We need to edit that. Ammunition group, none. Consumes ammo, no. There we go. So now we can always roll that. Shepherdry. Was it shepherdry or were we doing mining here? Mining, I think I goofed, didn't I? Oh, no, never mind. Anyway. Very mappy looking map. Lots of no woods, exactly. But anyway, we would then go through all of these and say the blacksmith, you got 8 gold, you get nothing from the fishing, and it's a fumble, and with that roll, the last few fishermen go out and die. I know it sucks, right? That really sucks, but it's... why it's dangerous. You know, if it's dangerous, just don't send them out fishing. Be like that. Some of them might even only go out if they pass a leadership test. Oh, let's start writing some of these things down. Let's create a folder. Tarm campaign rules. Stop killing fishermen. Fishing lives matter. Right, okay, so we'll go here. And we'll create a journal entry, and we'll call this Tarm Town Rules. Tarm Town Management Rules. There we go, create new entry. So one thing I like the idea of, dangerous, this is just going to be like a brainstorm to begin with, and then we'll feng shui it into making sense. If a, let's say, if an industry is dangerous, that would not normally be so. So basically the hunters of Tarm will be happy to go out regardless, because it's kind of a given. They've been hunting goblins and beastmen, etc. in the woods for a while, so they know that's coming. But if the shepherds suddenly have a bunch of stone trolls set up in the hills, they're going to have to pass a leadership test. And if they fail, they're just not going to earn you any money. It's just like, nope, we're not working. Sorry, we'll leave. We'll leave this for you to solve. Then a leadership test. No, then a cool test has to be passed in order for the industry to gain earn any money. Given the low stats of unskilled workers, the target will be 30. Challenging. There we go. So that's basically, and do we click this? We click that to save it. There we go. So basically, if one of the industries is having trouble, so in a word, the fishermen aren't going to go out and get themselves killed. Not unless, like, our party are like, look, you have to go out and die here. You're just going to have 5 guys sat in a building saying, look, I'm not going out. You're going to have to force me. Anyway. So we've got this system in place for earning money. Negative SL doesn't impact anything, so negative SL has no negative effect. So I don't want to tally up positives and negatives, being like which ones are running a profit, which are making a loss. You know, that's kind of dull. It would have made sense as well to do it as an income endeavour, with each one having its own career. That is a nice way of doing it as well, but it has some problems. So the nice thing about doing it by an income endeavour is that you get half earnings if they fail, full earnings if they pass. But the difficulty is then you kind of have to adjust each of the earnings by industry and have them each attached to a particular skill. That might be something I create as well as an alternative to this system. Someone needs to pass a leadership test, an industry has to pass a cool test, and then another roll for a success. I mean, the obvious solution is don't send them out if it's dangerous. I think, like, because if something's marked as dangerous, they're going to die. So I'm not expecting anyone in our town to force the fishers to go out and do their job, because chances are they will all die. And then everyone in town will hate you. So just like, it's that, yeah, that would be the mechanic of... you would, if you were trying to lead them into it, do an opposed test. Your leadership against their call. If you are forcing them to do it, you can oppose their call with a leadership test. Like that's a fine mechanic. Like, again, there's nothing really that means you should send them out. What about the safe direction for them to fish in? Then it's not dangerous. It's just there's not anywhere they can fish that has been established to your south, or not sufficient area, let's say. The main waterway will have some barges going up and down it on a regular basis, so basically they'll need access to a new area that will have to be negotiated. We could bring up the map, but if they're going to a new area and it's not dangerous, then it's not dangerous. You can do endeavour to guard them so they lose a dangerous trait. No, but you will give them a bonus to the test, so it's less likely to be dangerous. Dangerous would be representing them being attacked by goblins while there, and thus if you're attacked by a goblin like raid of say 10 to 15 goblins, then it's like, well, then technically you have to fight that out, and will some of them still die? I'd say it's still dangerous, but they would have a bonus to the test. So that would be my take on it. It depends on the severity of the danger. We're not talking about a couple of goblins shooting arrows at them. We're talking about something more than the usual, something that is a warband of goblins, etc. Something that, you know, they're just not going to survive if they come across. Or if they do, they're going to have losses. So, but the higher their skill, the higher the amount of security, the lower the chances of them fumbling, and the lower the chances of them suffering casualties, therefore. So by guarding them, giving them a boost to their roll, it helps. By boosting their numbers, by having more security, etc, 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 it helps. What I will need to do is dangerous trait. Now, this is just a question mark for me. Fishing dangerous, mitigated by river wardens. So what you could maybe do is have an opposed test first to see if you can remove the dangerous trait between your river wardens and the goblins of the area. Currently it's just pointless doing, but that could be a mechanic to do it. I say it's pointless doing because the river wardens would lose. There aren't any. There's one. Yeah, I want to keep this simple, though. Like, I don't want to have 500 different rules going on simultaneously. Everything will have to try and make sense. well, if the group went out, did a combat encounter, and cleared an area, fine, we can remove the dangerous trait for a bit, but an endeavour to do so is too much, because it will likely involve combat if that's the case. Right, let's have a look. Hello, Two Hands. Hello, Captain. Hello, Stone, Zirag, Philip, Nar, Mac. Nice to see you all. Right, so dangerous mitigated by security. What I would probably do is give a shield. So let's say you've got a certain amount of security and you failed by 3 SL, then you can probably use the armor rating of your security to protect you against the fumbles, etc. I'm not exactly sure. I tell you what we'll probably need. We'll need a roll for sentry wardens to clear safe space. I think for me that makes the most sense, is have an opposed test, and this will to see if they can clear a space to remove the dangerous trait. At the start of the campaign, it's obviously going to be very hard to do, and it will risk losing your river wardens, because the thing is with the river gits is they're painted as being a very large and imposing threat. There's lots of them, and some of them even have black powder weapons. God knows how, but they do, because they're goblin pirates. So sending out 3 river wardens in a dinghy will basically likely get them killed. So it's just sort of we're not maintaining a small waterway with 3 people. It's just not this scale and time, not really going to happen. We need to roll for sentry warden to clear safe space. So this would be an opposed test versus the 2 forces. Bonuses would be given based on outnumbering bonus. Only the average weapon skill of a troop would be counted. Presence of PC heroes could give +5 per rank to the attacking roll. So if you're a rank 2, you'd give a +10. If you're a rank 3, you'd give +15. Otherwise, we're just going to have to actually roll out all of these fights, which is players doing an endeavor and failing will suffer negative SL damage for the start of next session, mitigated by if we have it mitigated by armor and toughness, it will basically never do any damage, because you're only going to get a negative SL of 6, and it just removes all it may be just a fatigue session, a fatigue condition. No. We'll suffer a fatigue condition at the start of next session as they are recuperating. There's a little bit of a risk. I don't want to get I don't want to hurt NPCs outside, but it's sort of like a little bit of a negative. I don't know. We'll have them roll endurance. Actually, we'll have to pass an average endurance test or suffer a fatigue condition at the start of next session as they recovering from their wounds. Okay, that I will probably change that a little bit. Some of beware some of the town maps I have put them on various doodahs and doohickeys, so they are kind of around. Sorry, that's not particularly helpful, is it? I have put them on my Facebook for Roll Corruption. Right, so again, a lot of this stuff here is first bake, so a lot of this would get changed. And I'm now looking at maybe the income endeavours for the industries being like, well, actually, the only issue with doing an income endeavour for each of the industries, and this is why I don't like it, is by increasing the skill of it, you increase the probability of earning, but not the quantity of earning. Do you follow me? Whereas having a weapon-based version means that you earn based on SL, which for me then translates better to we have implemented more stuff, ergo we earn more money more often. So I think SL for me translates better into this. So effectively, what you would consider all of this as, all of these would almost combine into an extended test where negatives don't count, and whatever you have for your SL of that test combined is how much money you have. That's probably the way to look at it. Here's the thing, can you do an extended test for multiple things at once, for multiple combats at once? Probably not, but that's something I might ask Mooman about. But I think that's good. We could maybe increase the damage of some of these if certain things were added. I have a rule thus far. I'll believe that I can find this down here somewhere. Improving town trade. There we go. So my rough thing that I'll be doing for this, and if we could go look at main, talent, career, combat, effects, trappings, notes. Where are your skills? Oh, we're already on extended tests. There we go. So population for a trade can contribute up to 30 points of skill in total. One person per skill point, except for blacksmithing, which would be half of that, so 15 people in total. So that would give you 30 skill points in that trade, a warehouse or a suitable location to do the crafting, as well as the kitted out location. So basically a workshop. It'll cost a lot, but it's plus 20, and obviously you'll need a workshop to actually be smithing. You wouldn't be able to get a workshop, say, for shepherdry, unless you were doing weaving, but that would be a separate industry, I would say. Shepherdry, I'm assuming it's some bodged combination of lambs being sold for meat as well as wool. So some bit of both. No, actually, I'll tell you what, we'll change that. We'll say it is a bit of both, and if you've got a weavery, you would get plus 20, because then you're exporting stuff and you'll earn more money. Nice, I like that. And then individuals highly trained or specialised, including the PCs, if they're associated with this trade, you'll get plus 15 to the skill rating. So if we were saying that we have river guards currently, here we go. Here we go. I've got this. Okay. Except blacksmithing and guards sentries, who count as pop 2. So for every guard you have in an industry, you would get 2 skill points, maybe 3. Blacksmithing, no. Okay, we got this. Who count as 2, and guard sentries who count as 3. There we go. So that makes more sense. So for every river warden you have, you would get 3 skill in this test. So you only need 3 of them to have a test of 10, which is not terrible, considering it's an average test. You'd be rolling against a 30, and then if you have a hero halfling leading them, then you're up to a 45 already, which is pretty decent. And yeah, things could go wrong if you go out. Again, outnumbering bonuses would apply. So if you met 20 goblins while out with 3 river warden, they're going to get a plus 40. Well, they'll probably be capped actually at plus 60. 20, 40. Yeah, it would be plus 60 against your test. So you know you're in a lot of trouble. I know the outnumbering bonuses will skew it a little bit, but it kind of makes it reasonable, though. You're not going to have 3 river wardens going out killing 20 goblins. Armor will help mitigate the negative SL of dangerous, so that that we will factor in. I need to mention that here as well. Town management. AP will mitigate. This includes shields. Defensive bonus. This includes the AP of a shield, we'll say. AP will mitigate, but not defensive, because otherwise shields are too strong. Pretty much. The damage taken via negative SL. So what that would mean is that if you go out with your hunters and they suffer 2 wounds and they have 1 armor, then only one of them dies. So that kind of makes sense. That's how I'm leaning towards it. It does make shields too good, because shields will count as 2 armor all over the body, which in the rules as is already a bit too strong. You could maybe say, well, just the defensive bonus. It's fine. If you've got guys with shields and chain armor and leather, obviously you're not going to be able to afford to kit that out, but they would be able to take -4 SL before even suffering any damage. So if you've got some fairly well kitted out people to go out with you, you could go out, and if you fail a test, none of them die. It's just you get beaten back, and that's the power of armor really in this game. I'll have to rethink that rule because it could get a little bit too strong. But anyway, moving on to improving the town, we have individuals who are highly trained giving the +15 to the skill rating. +5 per career rank to the skill rating. There we go. So it's up to a max of +20, but you're not going to get many of those. It will be +15 for most, or +10. If you find a rank 2 guy somewhere, it's +10. So even Setup currently will give a +10 bonus. Last narrative opportunity, creative ideas, endeavours can improve things further, typically a +5 or a +10. You'd have to shrink a lot of money into each guy before scaling armour became a problem. Yeah, absolutely, I know. It would be a hell of investment, it would be... But that being said, like, money, the scale of money is not the same for this. So you guys might make 20 gold crown on your first bunch of income endeavours. You might go to another noble and ask to borrow 500 gold crown. Like, that could happen. Nobles exchanging large sums of money is not unusual. You might get 100 gold crown for a dowry for marrying Sigurd to someone's lady. You could make a deal with the merchant guild to maybe have a loan of 500 gold crown. Like, that's doable. Yeah, the scale of money is not the same as the personal scale of money. There'll be 2 totally different things. But I also agree that if you're sinking a large amount of money on one dude, yes. Although I will say, if kitting out guard, the weakest one will be attacked. So basically, if you've got 5 guard, you need to buy 5 shields, because otherwise the guy without a shield is going to die. So, and yes, then the following ones wouldn't, but I don't want to be tracking inventory. So let's make a note of that while we're here. Let's make a note of that. Inventory of guard will be assumed to be identical. All must be equipped the same, especially in order to keep them happy. Yeah, 50 gold crown in one go. It's most of a workshop. Absolutely. But you could also equip them with ugly, shoddy shields, for example, and it would cost, what, like 5 gold crown. So it depends how you want them to be equipped, but it really doesn't have to cost that much. If they are bulky, if they are over encumbered, I would give them a negative to their test, though. So because they would be fatigued all the damn time. Well, you know what? Here's another good rule. They can't be over encumbered all the time because they're working all day. You can't work all day over encumbered. So encumbrance will be limiting. Or they're just fatigued all the damn time. No, you know what? I won't make that a hard rule. You can make them over encumbered. It was just going to give them fatigue conditions, which is fine. But yeah, so that's one thing that can be done. Right, now let's have a little look through. I think I'm fairly happy with those rules, although I need to write them up a little bit more formally. I do want to do building construction, so I'd like to create a TARM campaign building construction. Right, so average costs. Cost of a average costs. I'll put this in a table afterwards. Workshop in the book, 80 gold crown. Townhouse with a garden, 200 gold fee. 200 gold crown. Not a garden. What do you call it? Multi-story townhouse with plot. Okay, so that would also include a small manor or say a large tavern. Okay, small. Okay, plus. Minus 20% for small. Well, let's just list them. Okay, so small manor, we'll say 240 gold crown. And we'll go with a tavern, 2-story tavern. Would say 160 gold crown. Ish. We'll change this afterwards. Allotments would do. Yeah. I'm going to modify these. This is just a starting point, and what I have here to help me is a medieval price list. It's a great resource online, and it's pretty cool because it's basically got examples of costs. Now, generally speaking, what I've noted through this is actually based on 13th and 14th century largely, whereas the pricing for Warhammer Fantasy is closer to 16th century. So basically you need to double them because the prices during that time roughly doubled. They don't all translate perfectly, but it's a really nice way to get a few things in and be like the cost of a funeral. Cheap gentleman's funeral. Ugh. There's quite a lot of stuff, actually. Quite a lot of money there. You have to look a little bit at the dates to try and make sense. So if it's earlier on, you probably have to double it. If it's 15th, 14th, maybe you don't have to quite double it, but rough indicator. So what we need to do is go to buildings. We have a shoes. Nope. There we go. House with courtyard. That's £90. I would say house with a courtyard. 180 in total, fully furnished, maybe 150. So basic house. House with courtyard. This is not a bad house. 180. No, we'll call it 160. Or should we go? 160-ish. And we'll have to go through afterwards and make all of these make sense. House with courtyard, silver house with courtyard, brass house with brass house on its own, 80 gold crown. But it's like a workshop. Yeah, we'll have to change that. It'll be like a cheaper workshop, basically. 60 gold crown. 140 therefore. I mean, it's going to cost a lot more to build a silver house than a brass house. And then small manor. Yep, okay. Gold house with courtyard. Yeah, 240. We'll stick with that for now. We'll stick with that for now. Good afternoon, Skelter. What's up? Look at all those prices. Look at all of them. Right, let's have a look. Stonegate House, 16. And that's in the 1300s. So all in, 30 gold. I'm going to just boost that up to Gatehouse, 45 GC. Stonegate House, let's call it 50. And we'll go for a wood gatehouse. 30 GC. 25. Right, there we go. What else do we have here? Merchant's house is... Yeah, I mean, that's basically a silver one. Yeah, that 140 is probably a little bit on the expensive side. So we can maybe tweak that a little bit. Okay, let's tweak that down. 210, 110. That seems better. I'm more happy with that. If you guys have specific thoughts, let me know. Okay, let's have a look. Tower in a castle curtain wall. Okay, castle tower. Okay, so this would be like a standalone tower. I would put it. Tower. 330. You know what? That's probably expensive enough. That's late 14th. 450. Castle and college. Castle tower. 450 gold crown. But that would be able. Holds a garrison of 20. Can hold garrison of 15. There you go. So that would be very good defensible. Gold house and small manor. Yeah, sorry, small manor. I probably... Okay, let's tweak that a little further. 180. Let's go 90... 160. $120, 240. Right, how are we looking there? Hello, Daniel. Out of curiosity, using the 13th century price list, what might you price a rural hovel at? Wattle and daub construction, single room. Call it Bretonian fashion. I mean, do they have anything here for that? Rent cottage, 5 silver a year. Craftsman's house, 20 silver a year. So a cottage would be up to 5 gold. Well built. 2 gold, poor quality. So 4 gold crown to pay someone to come and build it and provide the materials. Single hovel of poor construction, 4 gold crown. Single hovel of good construction, 8 gold crown. And that would just be like your small room. Like, maybe you would change that a little bit. But that would be materials and paying someone to build it for you. So this would be to contract it out. You could... I'm going to have rules for materials, and I'm going to have rules for other things like that. So... Cunning plan. You could likely source local materials. It's mostly local branches and mud. Yeah, exactly. No roof or windows, self-build. Yeah, self-build confirmed. Is my Facebook page broken? Oh no, it should be Roll Corruption, Frederico. It should be Roll Corruption. Am I streaming to it? Is that broken? That's not good if it is. Yeah, so let me have a look. So rules here. I'm assuming that the majority of cost here is construction. Sorry, workforce, not materials. At least in the book, they go with raw book materials 20%, and rest is on craftsmanship. And like, yes, you can probably argue that till the cows come home that it's different for buildings, etc. It's different for XYZ. I'm just going to keep that as a rule of thumb right now. I think I'm going to stick with that. So, if all materials are supplied locally, a saving can be made of 20%. If only some of the materials are available, well, then the saving will be 10%. So let's say you have a carpentry guild here, which you do, and you have XYZ other things like a masonry guild, then you can probably make stone buildings for 20% off because you've got everything covered and you've got a blacksmith, right? So if you've got those three, you've got everything covered. But if you only have a carpentry guild and you don't have a masonry guild and you want to build a manor, you're going to have to pay the others to do it. Now, here's where the rest comes in. So this is only for materials. I would say the craftsmanship costs, you still have to pay people's salaries, etc. So even if you have a masonry guild, you're having to pay their salary. You're not going to pay them less because they're yours instead of someone else's. Like the charge, like this is just what I'm going to say. Charge per hour remains the same. Workmanship. For artisans, the cost can be lower locally as it may help exclude taxes. If, therefore, you have a local guild that is appropriate, then, yeah, so you would need wood for wood. Carpenters for that, you may save a further 10% on the price. Okay, so it's not a huge amount, but it does give an incentive to have some masonry people working within the town. Though they will be... the number of workers you have for that industry will determine the limitations of how many projects they are able to complete. I'm not going to go with building times in this and extended tests and all of that stuff. 20% is close enough. Yeah, 20% is closer. Yeah, I'm happy making it 20. I don't know what taxes would be like. I know taxes would be very high at that point in time, but I don't really know the actual numbers for 16th and 15th century tax rates within the UK. So thus far you can save 40% if you have the appropriate bits and bobs. But what I would say is this carpentry guild will be able to take on one project per session. Typically a guild of 15 individuals will be able to complete one project per fortnight. Just for simplicity, per session. There you go, one project per session. I know that might not be believable if suddenly a tower is erected in 2 weeks for some folk, but I don't want to go too much. Based on Taxman Cometh event prior to endeavours. Ah, Daniel, very good point. Very good point. I think that's okay, actually. I think that's okay. So if you have all of the guilds available and you have materials available, like basically just because you've got stone in the mountains nearby doesn't mean that you have bricks. You know, just because there's clay nearby, like unless you have actual workers getting it, i.e. sufficient staff within a guild, it doesn't mean you have the material. So currently within Tarm they would only have wood as a material, so it'd save them 10% of the cost, even of a building that is only part wood. So like a stone manor, for simplicity you have some of the parts 10% off, sorted. And I'm just going to assume most buildings are some combination of wood and a little bit of stone. I guess you can also make the argument that plaster is... I mean, plaster generally was built from limestone, I believe. You had limestone plaster before gypsum came along, so it's still stone, I guess. So that's all fine. Let's just save that there. Right, so this is for crafting stuff. So materials, if all materials are supplied and locally, is saving on 20%. Wood plus stone. Wood plus quarry. Minimum staff per industry would be 15. This is just for them to have a mechanical effect. I might say 10. Yeah, we'll say 10. There we go, and we'll just make this pretty. If all materials are supplied locally, a saving or insert, bear with me a sec. I just need to grab a glass of water, guys. Actually, I've got a little bit here. The old heartburn's kicking off again. If you're planning to build a workshop and not planning to own it yourself, sell it. The guild based everywhere. You'll get your money for building it back and a little on top. True, true. That's an interesting one. That's an interesting one. I have been going with the assumption that the majority of buildings in this time are owned by the Lord. Almost all of them. I know it might actually have been the case where the feudal system kicked off. Like, I don't know when land started getting sold, but I would guess it was 17th century. Google. When was land sold for the first time? Like using history research, land registry, title deed, stamp duty. No, that's not what we want. What do you call it? Was it when the feudal system kicked off? When did the feudal system start? Yeah, I mean, that was... Well, let's have a little read for a second here. Give me some dates. Give me some dates. I don't want women's clothing. Go away. You look at one dress for a birthday present for someone, and all it wants to do is sell you that shit. Anyway, let's move that for now. Ah, there we go. Yeah. When did people first get property? English land law. That'll do. Early Middle Ages. Early Middle Ages, right. Yeah. Okay. Let's have a look. Roman law, Anglo-Saxon. Ah, it's the whole serfdom, isn't it? It's the whole serfdom. I mean, you do have burghers within the game, so you do have landowners, and you have people... Yeah. So... I would say... So here's the tricky thing, is yes, in theory you can do that, and what they would do is they would then pay rent to you. However, your rent also goes to pay the salary of the people within the town. So I would assume that all of the buildings are being rented out anyway. However, I'm not going to give the players extra money for it, because I'm going to assume that is also paying for the salary, etc. It is a fair point, though, that we could probably say that Tarm has a passive income based on rent. And that would be a constant. And I could almost say that that would be decided by the Lord. Oh, okay, so we have to think about this now, don't we? We have to think about this, actually. Tarmtown management rules. Rent. Because I do think it's reasonable. No, it's a good point, Philip. It's a good point. I like it. Because it does mean as well that you might have... Now, you could also make the argument that the reason Sighard has an income of 3 gold crown is because that's the rent he collects from the places he owns. Like, where else does a noble lord get their money from? So you could very well say that a lord has an income of 3 gold crown because they're property owners. It is fair, and that is a tricky one. I think I would be tempted to leave it as it is, therefore. Yes. Yeah, I will... Where else did he get his money before he got this land in Tarm? Family pocket money, basically. That's what I'm saying, at least, just to make sense of it. Because he was a lord, technically he owns land somewhere else, so maybe his dad gave him a few buildings in Nuln, so perhaps that gets him some of the income. Right, we need to go more into the building, so I just want to get a few more in here. So let's have a look. So we'll go with Palisade. Let's have a look for medieval. Do we have a palisade here? Find wall. Raw materials and labour that went into the Tower of Langdale, a rectangular tapered stone built in 1992. No, 992. Okay. Stone, stone gatehouse, stone. So that's average working days. No, I don't think we're going to get an actual stone wall cost. I mean, how much are you going to put for this? Like, for the whole town, for a wall upgrade, it's a fair bit of wool. I mean, you could probably put Palisade upgrade. What would you guys put for that? Yeah, inheritance dividends. Exactly. Exactly. What would you guys reckon is fair for a cost of production of a wall? Let's have a look at Age of Empires 2 building costs. Why not? Why not? Constructible buildings, Dark Age. Town centre. Let's see if any of this actually translates. This is hilarious if it does, though. Utterly amazing if it does. Wood, stone. Okay, so you're looking at 375 for the main townhouse. That's pretty believable. Let's have a look and see what a monastery would cost. God damn, you could basically just rip this system. 175 gold. Yeah, I'm fine with that as well. Like, this actually seems to be working quite well. A guard tower. Let's see what we got here. 175 for a stone guard tower. Okay, like I can see that working. Not an amazing one, but just a guard tower. University, no. So what do we want? A stable. An archery range. 175. You know what? I think these costs are pretty okay. Stone wall. Where's the wooden wall? Where's the wooden wall? Palisade wall. So how much is this? Wood 2. So it's 2 wood. Ugh. I would go so... like, how are we going to measure this? For the love of God, how is this going to work? Think, Hydra, think. Should we just say for the whole wall upgrade... 200 gold crown? Nah, that's way too much. That's way too much. That's getting more toward putting stone and a lot of other stuff in. It's mainly just time, isn't it? It's mainly just time. So, Palisade upgrade. Provided materials are local. You're just paying for labour, aren't you? You're literally just paying for labour, so... Palisade upgrade. Oh, God, should we just put 10 gold crown? No, let's go for 5 gold crown per 5 wall segment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whole thing would probably be about 70. 200 for the length of... Yeah, I'm thinking, like, if you just wanted to reinforce the palisade, probably 80 gold crown to 75 gold crown. But the thing is they'll only be able to do a certain section of it every couple of weeks. Per 10 wall segment, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and that would be 8 gold crown per 10 wall segment. Yeah, so it could be putting more horizontal beams in, placing more supportive struts in place. Yeah, having more stone put up against it as well. Just anything to like mechanically reinforce it, let's say. Using nails instead of good luck. Yeah, the town of Tarm has grown like a child. Yes, and this town, unlike a child, may be put down if heresy continues. So, let's say 75 in total. Now we'll say 40. 40 in total. Because that 8 gold crown, you'd have local materials and you would have local taxes. So that would be 4 gold crown for 10 segments. 4 gold crown would be... yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We'll say 60 in total. So by the time all of that's done, you're probably looking at like 30 gold crown because you have a carpenter's guild. And then we'll put stone walls. Stone walls... 2 sessions to complete. I'll probably put a session timer on a couple of them. So house, 1 session. So we'll put 1 endeavor. Yeah, let's do it via endeavors. 1. I'll tell you what we'll do. Cunning plans. I don't want to make it too like completely rulesy, but it's also like nice to just have that would be 2 and that would be 3. Workshop, we'll put workshop down as 1 endeavor because I'm going to say that it's relatively simple construction, quickly fired up. Half of the cost of the workshop will be the tools for it anyway. So wooden gatehouse, 1 endeavor. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So in theory, the lumberjacks could build 1 brass gatehouse and 1 workshop in a week, in 2 weeks rather, because we go every 2 weeks. Two endeavors, or they could build 1 small manor house. I know it's ridiculously fast. Nah. Four endeavors. 3 endeavors. Oh. This is probably slightly further than I would want to go in terms of management, but it's fine. 2 endeavors for a stone gatehouse, sure. 1 endeavor. Okay. That's probably what we're looking at here. Ah, dear, oh dear, oh dear. Palisade upgrade. Stone walls. 200 gold crown. Eight endeavors, so 4 sessions worth, and you're gonna have to fork out the whole shebang. 8 weeks to create that. It's just unbelievable, I know. Let's go with 10. Like, The thing is that this would be exported to another masonry guild, most likely, because you're not going to have a masonry guild here capable of doing that. So you're going to have to basically fork out for someone else. And if you're forking out for someone else, you're not limited by how many endeavours they've got. They're just here building, but it will take 5 sessions for them to build a stone wall all the way around the town. But hey, that's no joke. That's a stone wall around your town now. I'm fine with that. Seems 60 gold crown. Two endeavours. There you go, we need to put some dots in here, don't we? I need to keep this consistent because I'm doing different formatting for all of it. Alright, off. I have some killer heartburn today. Bear with me a second, guys, while I go get a Rennie. I'll be right back. Oh, that's better. Cole Franz can just rock up and build it out of his pocket. That sounds about right. That sounds about right. Okay. Oh, that's better. I don't have burning in my throat anymore. Guys, don't get old. Do not get old. It sucks. Or just don't drink too much beer. Right, and that will be 6 endeavours. Stone tower can hold garrison of 5. 100 GC. 4 endeavours. I'm going to make this one have a garrison of 25. So that would be a infinitely more structured tower. Like if they put a large tower here, that would be roughly what they'd be looking at. A lot of money, but it would be like a defensible castle tower, effectively. Castle. Oh, feck it. Let's do castle. Castle. Small. Let's see if we have a castle here. Palisade wall, castle. Tower in the castle. Stonework of church. Is that 113? Cost of castle building. I want to see the actual cost of castle. 2,000? 3,000? 2,000. Can hold a garrison of 40. 2,000 gold crowns. Like, I'm not planning on my players getting to this, but it just kind of 20 endeavors. There we go. Like, this is ridiculous, but Sure, why not? Like, it's just here for fluff, really, at this point. Medium. 4,000 gold. 40 endeavours. Can hold a garrison of 100. There you go. So that will be... I mean, that's probably still a little bit cheap on that side of things. So here's some other stuff I want to go over, and this is more relevant now to managing my town. I say my town. Managing the town in my campaign is... It's not even my campaign. It's such a weird way to put it. Like, I run it, but it's not mine. It's theirs. It's entirely their campaign. I just try and facilitate it. And obviously I'm sure I have a large influence on it as a result. But anyway, workmanship... empty buildings. Large enough buildings can be converted into workhouses, provided the tools can be procured. On average, it will cost 30 gold crown to repurpose a building into a workshop. This can be reduced by blacksmithing and carpentry. Smithing and carpentry. There you go, that makes sense. Smithing and carpentry. That makes sense. So basically it could go down to like 24 gold crown to repurpose an empty building. So let's just go through here now and do all of this. So we do have a Fletcher. The Fletcher's still here, so marker, hunt. What we need is an arrow, really. Do we even have an arrow here anywhere? Textile tower, wizard tower, bow, scroll, ruin, row, port. I don't think there's anything that resembles that. Food, empire. Yeah, I don't think we have anything like that. Are you going to add the bits about upgrades on buildings for us players to get talent? Like upgrading the training ground to get talent? I'm trying to process that in my head. That I won't put on there because I think is then turning this too much into a... I want you guys to tell me as players what you're going to do to make things better, and then we come up with what it does. If everything's on a shopping list, then basically there's no roleplay anymore. It's just we might as well play D&D, you know. That's my thinking, at least, is that's then mechanizing too much of the roleplay for my liking. Because if you want to do something to make your trade better, I want to hear your idea, and if it makes sense, then cool. And then we can try and figure out what it does. But what I don't want to have is basically like a shopping list, and anything that's not on the shopping list doesn't exist. So for that one in particular, I'll just have empty list, and yeah. So hopefully that makes sense. Let's go with barracks. Oh no, guard. We'll put guard post on here. Icon size, 35. Font size. There we go. Fletcher. But if people have ideas, like if you want to start rattling off ideas now about what you could do to improve an industry, sure. I would say that certain things might... I will try and make the bonus proportionate to the quality of the idea mixed with the investment. So if for the training ground you said to me, I want to get a bunch of logs and get the guys to carry the logs back and forth using some logs I found outside the wall, that would be a bit of a, well, that's already what I imagine they're doing, because there's not really much else to play with. So that would be like a 0 investment, 0 reward scenario. So even if some things mechanically make sense, if you were to do an endeavour and do spend some time to do a thing, sure, the thing will give a benefit, if that makes sense. But if it's a, I tell all of my soldiers to eat fish because the oily goodness will be good for their joints. No. It'll be fine. It'll honestly be fine. 50. Fletcher. So this is actually a building here. General store. Should we have the general store moved? Sure. General store's now here. She'll have moved. Or will she? Because what was this building before? I think I actually had this as an unlisted building. Merchant house, maybe? Yeah, no. So I wouldn't necessarily put everything down as talents. It depends what we're referring to. So if we're referring to the talent to be able to train people more often, that's just a talent you can buy, which is, we'll call it talented at training people. If you want to invest in things that will make it easier to train people, so a bunch of dummy weapons, then that might give you a bonus to your test, for example. So if you spent 5 gold crown on some dummy weapons, that would be a +5 modifier when training these troops, something like that. Or it would reduce the SL by 1, something like that. Would have to basically come up with each doodah and stuff. Let's just put it that way. Right, okay, so this building here, we've got a general store, and we actually have a bit of a description here. From the outside, the shop looks more lavish than most, and has been more recently built with better quality stones, and has all of the wooden structures intact. Small grated windows let in a modest amount of light, but it is difficult to view the inside. The building itself is shaped like a T, with the front extension serving as a small display of what is on sale inside. Multiple items, including weapons and wares, are nailed securely onto the shelves and display cabinets. It was good doing all this before. The store worker is Amelin. No, it's fine, Talek, it's fine. Did Alf and Wilfred, or only Alf, take the sausage shop? Wilfred isn't a cook, so yeah, sausage shop is here, currently empty. It's more like a sausage stand. They might come back, I guess. They left, the weaver left, and the tanner left. They left ages ago just because basically there was 0 progress with the temple being built for such a long time that, you know, it was a thing of like nothing, no progress was being made, and then suddenly the guys were like, okay, we're going to have to go fight a giant. And then they did that, and then people stopped leaving, but people did leave for a while. So this is just housing up here. So that's purely residential. So workshop-wise, the cook's house here. Oh, we actually have empty workshop. Okay, so we have, let's create an entry. Empty workshop. Save. Empty workshop. Icon size 55. Antique. Shop. Hammer, smith, blacksmith. Nope, nope, okay. Right, can I do that again? Oh, I've got to do it every time, haven't I? Fine. Blacksmith, antique. Oh, does it need to be 55? Okay, so we'll have 2. That's definitely not a workshop. But now you know what? Empty townhouse. Doink. Black. Doink, doink. There we go. Empty townhouse. So this will be a former merchant will have lived there. They will have moved out. General store still there. The watch and barracks is still there. We have a lone tower, little hamlet house there. This is effectively a warehouse. And this is purely to keep the wood in check, really. Right, what can we call this? What can we do this? Textile, temple, swamp. Textile? I just want to see what it looks like. No, that doesn't work for me. Castle wall, cave, cemetery. No, I forgot I don't like the caves. I don't like the caves. Farm. Yeah, warehouse, fine. This is basically where a lot of the timber is being kept. Yes, I know there's loads outside as well. I figure, well, look at how many trees they've been cutting down. So they have lots of building materials. So this is effectively storing building materials. This is the training ground where Lothar is trying to get troops to. I've put them a mixture of beating sacks, beating grain effectively, or wheat, beating the wheat to work on those arm muscles, and probably just carrying things back and forth, carrying logs, chopping wood, and maybe doing some, like, I don't know, stabbing the bits of hay. Who knows? You'll have to ask him. A herbalist, we're just going to make that slightly smaller. There we go. Healing poultice. Natasha, how is she doing? You know what? Let's give her some XP now. She's earned it. Let's go here. Let's go career. Let's go herbalist. Is she actually careers? Oh, she is actually a herbalist. Okay. She's an NPC. So we'll give her herb gatherer as well. Level 1 complete. Doesn't improve her stats, so now I have to look manually at what she gets and give her bonuses. So toughness. We already gave her some toughness, didn't we? An initiative. I think we can see we've already improved those, but let's go ahead and just give her a bit more. Oh Jesus, that's way too much. But she is Irish. 52 initiative, agility 38. We'll give her rover, give her nimble fingered. There we go. And we'll give her sharp. Oh, she's already got sharp. There you go. And what else could she have? Savvy. No, that'll do. She's still dumb as a post. Go on. She's making progress. She's making progress in her studies. And we'll give her trade herbalist. Yeah, she's actually not a bad herbalist, really. You've got to give her some credit for that. Right, there we go. Dancing Lamb is Solza. is, well, no longer has a place to work. So the Dancing Lamb was burned down. That was like only a couple of buildings were actually lost. The Dancing Lamb was one of them. So that's no longer the Dancing Lamb. We've got some houses being erected here. There's not necessarily a tavern, but former Dancing Lamb. Oh, you know what? I mean, they do have over here. She's way better than Lazarus. I mean, yeah. He's an apothecary, though, so I think the Dancing Lamb's actually going to just migrate over here. So Dancing Lamb, we're going to have... She's just going to be actually working in here now. So change of scenery for her and her daughter, Salza and Vertha. So basically, they're just going to be selling stuff within here, working as extra hands, etc. I imagine Werther, her attractive young daughter, will find herself a potential farming suitor. We'll change the fluff another time for what's written, but here is where the manor used to be, and guess what? That's right, we have the Stragani. They have set up, and yes, okay, look, the buildings don't look perfect. That's as good as we're going to get, okay? So we can delete Tarm Manor, and we can have instead... Stragani Camp. There we go. Doink. Why did they set up there? Because it was an empty plot of land. Will there be an opportunity for decrees, like telling people to sell homemade products on the market days? Undergo some martial training on weekends? Oh, of course, Philip. Any fluffy decrees are fine by me. I like the idea of lots of decrees. How is he teaching her? Her intelligence is 25. That's why. Like, her actual dexterity is good. So she's all hands, but they're not very smart. So her trade is good, but her knowledge is bad. So her lore herbalist sucks, basically. So lore herbs is 38, not particularly good. But her actual trade herbalist is good. So she's bad at learning new things, but good at doing what she knows. That's how I would explain it. Right, 80. I wonder where Sighard's going to set up. I wonder where he's going to set up camp. Orcs. That's hilarious. Orc camp. Yes. That's great. Mountains, metal, magic, lumber. Port Road, ruins, scroll, Sigmar. Oh, we actually have a... Oh, that's nice. Swamp, temple, textile, tower, Tower Hill Wizard, Ulrich. There we go. How big are the tokens on here as well, actually? Carpenter's Guild, that still stayed the same. The rat hole, still the same. Still having the roof repaired. Standard. Cook's house, still the same. So these are all residential. So we've basically got one empty workshop currently. And an empty townhouse. All others are being used. Stragani's vampire friend Rejoice, setting at a place where a family of his former mortal enemies previously lived. Well, whoever that is, the Stragani now have a home inside. A few of them died. Gilda just has an injured leg from this, but she's fine. We use Flowscape to do the maps. And we have a fishing pond being constructed down here. So this is the fishing pond right down in the corner. So Flowscape is what we make it with. Seth, what's up? Are all those base pin icons for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay? Haven't even looked at the icons yet. They're an additional one. So the bakery, there's still a bakery. Fishing guild. There is somehow still a fishing guild. I'm not sure where they came from. I think I downloaded them in like an additional pack, but the icons in the base game are... I quite like them actually. I think I prefer them to these. Undecided, but cookhouse is still the same. Bailiff. Ah, yes, of course. Bailiff. Doink. There is no bailiff. Empty bailiff office. Sigard's going to have to deal with that because he's not getting any tax. He doesn't have a tax collector. It's quite funny, but money? What court. There we go. That will do. Empty bailiff office. 45. There we go. An additional one. So cryptic. An additional what? Yes. Yes. I'm not actually sure where these came from. They were given to me, and I haven't said where they came from because I'm not exactly sure. So I don't know, I'm afraid. I'm sorry I can't be more helpful, but I'm actually not sure. Right. Here we go. Empty workshop. Yeah, Miner's Corpse no longer's there. That's the workshop and empty townhouse. Castle? Tavern? A village. Hey, there we go. That's nice. Oh, I tell you what. Okay, so what we need to do is have a little go through of how everyone's doing. This will likely come out in the first session or two, so will be pretty easy to catch up on. But there's some things I hadn't really thought about in terms of basically how things are going in the town. So our first session back will be a really good opportunity to touch base with the players and sort of fill them in. But I can fill you guys in a little bit now. The bakery has reduced its prices, notably. Recent news. Recent news. After the death of the local lord, the prices within the bakery have more than halved. Locals have been able to finally afford a meal here, and many have been exclaiming, many have been passing word around of its luxurious delicacies, of its wholesome, of its hearty breads. Yeah, that'll do. Hearty sweets. You don't get hearty sweets. Okay. Passing word around of its sweets. Of its exquisite sweets. That'll do. Right, so basically the bakery is now selling stuff at an affordable price. So that's now a thing. Bakery affordable, people are coming there, people are buying stuff. Let's just kind of wiggle around the town in this direction. The Miner's Pick used to primarily serve the Miners Guild, so that will just simply be a tavern now, where a few dwarfs are serving whoever will come along, because now here's a very good question. Create servants quarters. You can't really see very well, you can just see a roof there, but okay, there we go. village. Now, I don't think many of the servants would have hung around after that. They have a new lord, yes. Recent news. Most of the younger staff have left swiftly following the burning of the manor. Fearful for their own lives and what others might think of them. They have left to start anew elsewhere. Some of the older staff are still... Now, you guys would know this too, like players, or if you were to just live in the town, this would just... Everyone would know this, so no, we don't have to do gossip rolls for this, but some of the other staff are still to be found within town, assisting some of the local industries. There we go. Currently, these homes are now being rented as silver tier quarters, silver tier townhouses. Being slightly better quality than the hovels, the other side of the river. There we go. Job done. Vote Rex for new bailiff, because someone needs to progress the plot. Oh dear. I mean, it is true that it's a bit of a thing. It's a bit of a thing that he needs a bailiff, so the last one just basically disappeared. And it's really not surprising, though, is it? It's really not surprising. Okay. Empty workshop that used to be used by... well, it's technically an empty workhouse. No, it was a storage for the Miners' Guild, so it's basically just an empty potential workshop there. And we have an empty townhouse here that was used to be used by the miners' office. Now that's just an empty townhouse that no one's moved into yet. Temple of Raya, we'll go with Sigmar. Temple of... Temple of Sigmar. Maybe if I just take my Temple of Raya and change it to Sigmar. There we go. There we go. I mean, what it says isn't relevant, but it's a temple. It's not the best doodah I've got for it, but it's a temple. More people are focusing on Sigmar again in their lives, which is good for them, really. They're less likely to be burned by a witch hunter, so that's good. The rat hole is... How is the rat hole doing? Actually, we need to go up over here. We nearly forgot. I'll just zoom out to give you perspective again. We never really went here before with the map, because this is new map, technically. This is like a large... it's a warehouse, effectively, but shepherds, winter, like, when there's threats on the hills nearby, they'll just bring their flocks back here, congregate in here, until the threat has passed, or in the surrounding areas, but it's basically like a warehouse for them. It's the temple. And this is where some of the weaving is done, and where the sheep are sheared. This is a shearery, and yeah, the dancing lamb, I guess, the ladies are working there now. So technically, for shepherdry, there is a warehouse. So what we need to do now is we need to go Town, because it already has a warehouse, right? So from population, so we're looking at range sling. Population is 25, And then, so it will actually be 45 because they already have a warehouse. So that's actually one of their better industries. Range bow, I'll say the hunters don't get, they don't have a notable leader helping them either. The hunting guild doesn't have a warehouse, it has a tavern, but it's not like a warehouse is going to help a hunting guild, so yeah, they're just going to be one of the ones that doesn't really get one. Not that I can think of how it would help. Anyway, we move from there. We have a small dock. There's just... there's not much else to say about that, really. There's not much to know. The Fletcher, associated with the Ram's Head, is still working here. It's a rather large building for a Fletcher, I'm going to be honest. It's not particularly looked after well, but, you know, they make arrows. The hunters go out and do hunting. There's never enough birds, but heck, now the beastmen have been killed, there probably are more birds. We have empty townhouse here. Probably a merchant family used to live there and left. Ram's Head. I mean, much the same, really. Not much new with the Ram's Head to talk about. Watchguard House now has houses 5. Though has equipment enough for 10. For 10 guard sentry. Oh my god, is Wilfred here? We can actually have the river warden's office here. Yeah, okay, we're going to change the fishing guild. Oh, help if you go on the right tab. Fishing guild, Tom Fishing Guild. Fishing guild. River warden. Office. And fishing guild. Adred. Oh, is he dead? Okay, well let's just roll 2 crits for him. Crit body, gut blow, 'tis but a scratch. He's fine. He lived through. Any notable NPCs in areas that got wrecked? Basically, I've made some rolls for. No one died, actually. The hunter's the only one who have a notable leader. Yes, exactly. They have a plus 15 for that. They have a plus 15 to their roll for actually no, it's that's Town. It's actually more than that. So the Hunters Guild have 20 people. And they get, yeah, okay, so they have 20 people and they're getting a benefit of plus 20 from Yeoman, which is pretty damn good. We don't actually have any farmers currently as an industry, so we need to create that as well, and Yarla will be helping that because she's the priestess of Raya, so that will be melee flail, I guess. Oh no, we do have farming. Farming needs to be boosted. So farming is flail. Farming is 25. Yeah, that's 10 plus 15 for Yarla. Yeah, okay, that's fine. It's hard to keep track of this, but it'll. What I'll need to do is make some notes. So if I go to here, I would basically go to notes and have. Farming, 15 pop, 15 Yarla, hunting, 20 pop, 20 yeomans, stuff like that, just to keep track of it. The farming doesn't have a warehouse specifically, it's just we go pick things and we go out, and I don't think it really needs a workshop. Anyway, right, back to here. We've got the Watchguard House. A few survivors in there. Feck it. I mean, the guys did roll some great numbers, so 10. 15. There we go. So there are 10 watch or guard currently, and they're just useless. I think there was 15 before, and I had put down as 10 of them dying, but we'll keep 10 of them, although none of them are trained, because none of them have ever needed to be trained, because none of them have worked a day in their life still. So Talak, if you're there, you've got 10 people to train instead. We can do a bit of that. So they're all being trained up. Aren't the rat hole substituting for Temple of Raya now? Sort of. Herbalist still there. I mean, there's not much to say here. It's the sole surviving building. Yep, that's fine. Empty workshop, not much to say there. The last stop, busier than ever, and is like the nice tavern in town. Not much to change there. River Warden office and fishing guild. I might change that to just River Wardens, fishing guild plus River Wardens. Okay, so they'll just be in a combined building now, because there aren't any River Wardens, except for Wilfred, who is our champion, who is actually going to save the entire town by taking on the Rivergates on his own. 55. There we go. Oof, so here's a point actually, and this comes back to what Talak was asking earlier. If you are leading one of the guilds in their industry, you'll be able to give the bonus to them depending on what your character is if you're leading them. So let's say the River Wardens go out and try to defend your town. The character, I think I had said +5 depending on career level. Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. We'll come back to that in a second. Empty bailiff office and houses. And that's pretty much everything in terms of the... I mean, we've got a lumberyard there. Big old scary forest over here still. Big old scary spooky forest. Road to Blue Rock. Yeah, nothing much else to say about updating what's going on in Tarm. I quite like the change of the map though. I like the change in scale a little bit, and the fact that the Strigani have like camped up on the safe side of town. That's just great. No, that's just hilarious. Do all 10 still have gear? Yes, there is gear enough for 10. Doink doink. Watch guardhouse. Let me edit that. Yeah, we'll put gear for 10 because there was only 15 in the first place, and I'm going to assume from the attack that some gear was destroyed. So you've got enough for 10 still, which is, you know, that's more that's more guard than most towns. Although you'll need to train, we'll need some River Wardens separately. Just need to train the initial lot. Yeah, exactly. And then 10 guard and sentries. And you can allocate which one's a guard and which one's a sentry. Because they do have, if we go for guard and warden, so a guard sentry and a watch recruit have different stats. So you'll basically just have to allocate which ones are which. The watch recruits are a little bit more, if I remember, they're tenacious, hardy. Yeah, they're a little bit harder to kill. I think when they hit second rank, that's when it becomes relevant a little bit more. But first rank, the sentries have, excuse me, they have a shield, which is pretty useful. It's a buckler, but It still gives them 1 armor, right? And, well, I think actually trapping-wise they get... No, they don't get any leather. Ah, okay, so one has a leather jack. They're both armoured equally, as far as the rolls will be concerned. Obviously in an opposed test, a buckler is a bit different, but... what's the main differences then? Tenacious. Very similar. Very similar. Would make sense to have Town Watch to help with the unrest and transition of power. Yeah, I mean, 50-50s kind of... I mean, effectively, I think it becomes more apparent at the 2nd rank. So if you have Tarm Watchman and Tarm Guard, it's then a little bit more obvious as to which is which. So both have a hand weapon at this point, but one has, like, the Watchmen are a little bit more... There's really not a massive difference, is there? Like, both have pole arms. It's more fluff, really. Like, looking at it, it's more fluff. The Watchmen are slightly tougher, but there's not a lot in it. There is so much overlap. They both have gossip, intuition, law local, range bow. Ah, okay. So the guard will be able to use bows at rank 2, whereas the watchman won't. So, yeah. I mean, watchman, useful for crime within town, guard on the walls. So, you know, it's... Yeah, let's read a little bit about the careers while we're here, because I think that might actually be a nice, just a nice little bit of fluff for me to do as well. If I do... Oh, I think everything's gone Pete Tong here. Journal entry, career descriptions, and we'll go for watch. Watchmen are employed by local authorities to patrol streets throughout the Empire. Most are little more than well-meaning keepers of the peace, and few know the laws they're supposed to enforce. Corruption is rampant, and many watchmen enlist purely for the authority to hurt people or to support local criminal gangs. Some can earn triple their wages by turning a blind eye. Only a few towns and cities have professional watchmen paid to understand and uphold their law. Instead, the Emperor's peace is normally maintained by the local state army, who man walls, guard gates, and patrol the streets according to the instruction of their superior. Not every watchman is crooked, however, but those with morals are soon jaded by the corruption inherent in the system. Okay, fine. And a guard is... The best way to keep something safe is to post a guard. Guarding looks easy enough, though it's usually standing around doing very little. Guards live and die, quite literally, by how they behave during that moment when they are required to spring into action. The best can command high wages and are entrusted with the lives of the Emperor's finest personage and most valuable items. Guards are everywhere in the Imperial Palace, down to bouncers who might stand outside a tavern all night, throwing drunks into the streets. Merchants often require guards locally. Okay, fine. So watchmen, a little bit more watchy. Guards, a little bit more guardy. Like, pretty straightforward there. Oh, the software's dying, I think. I think it's dying. We're having some issues, Jim. There we go. There we go. Oh, good lord. That wasn't happy. Keeps going crazy. Right, there we go. That's better. It's working again. Alright, that's better music. I like that. So, what I want to do is just go through a little bit more on the rules side. So we'll do town... town management and improving town trade, that sort of thing, and training, combat training, improve. Oh, where's the one in? Okay, where is it? Building construction. I need to create a separate folder for all of this, don't I? Recruitment costs. Okay, recruitment costs and Tarm troop training. Okay, let's have a little look at these rules and just see about finalising these, and then we'll put my to-do list in the top left here. This is the mess of GM prep that I lived through. Watch trained hand weapon. Okay, going to see below. Okay. Right. Training troops assumes the basic trappings. No. No. What's happened here? Okay, let's try again. Right. Shall we drag in all of the careers here? That might make it a little bit easier. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, so we're going to go careers. Watch recruit. There we go. Watchman. Watch captain. Is it captain then sergeant? No, yep. Sergeant then captain. Derp. And sergeant then captain. Come on. Good lord, this software's really unhappy with me. Yeah, I may need to kickstart this. I'm going to close my medieval price list because I may need to actually just try and fix this fucker. Right, okay, what we're going to do is doink. Foundry virtual tabletop. There we go. Hello. Come on, let's load up. Come on. Come on, Foundry. Come on, baby. You can do this. Right, back over here. Back over here. There we go. Wow, that's hard work. Okay, would make sense to have Town Watch to help with unrest. That I like, yeah, that I like. Just to keep an eye on the people in the town. Although some guard won't go amiss for guard duties. Right. Token mounts require you to be viewing the scene with the mount. Earth. That keeps happening. Right, so we'll load up careers and we'll load up tables. No, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? Recruit. There we go. Okay. So we're going to have a watch recruit. Let's give ourselves a little bit of space. And we're going to go with a watchman. There we go. And we'll go with a guard. There we go. Sentry. Or an actual guard. There we go. And then we'll go for river. River warden, doink. So this is just so you've got their trappings there. River recruit. River warden. Okay. For the above careers, troops may be equipped and trained in accordance with the basic trappings listed for the career. Quality of trappings may of course vary and in some situations you may find individuals who have their own weapons. Who have their own weapons. Hand weapons. GM discretion. Right, let's have a little look through this, because I want it to be possible that they can equip them badly, but they will suffer a negative to like leadership tests. For the above career troops, troops, okay. Troops may be equipped and trained in accordance with the basic trappings listed in the career. The quality of trappings provided to the individuals can vary in quality. However, poor quality protective equipment tends to lead to less loyalty. That's good. In some situations, you may find individuals who have their own hand weapons. The GM can roll for the background careers. Right, 8+ on a D10 per trained individual. Right, there we go. That seems about right. Save that. Now, for the training. Equipment prices may be negotiated when buying in bulk. Savings of up to 30%. Have been known from someone who is good at haggling. During this opposed test, the benefits from haggle will double, i.e. either 20% or 40% saving. That'll do. The bulk would mean a minimum of, should we say 10 items being purchased? 8 items being purchased. There we go. It's a bit random, but that'll do. Right, so that kind of covers that side of things. Watchman trained, hand weapon, okay. Typically, you can hire trained, pre-trained individuals, and sometimes equipped from other towns, though this is not without risks. Not without risks. What are the risks of making enemies of local businesses? Sometimes, however, traders, having put the word out, some volunteers will naturally step forwards. Endeavours can be used to drum up interest. No, let's have a look. Sometimes endeavours can be used to gain workers of a particular trade. charm or leadership opposed by a cool test of 30 SL troops, SL individuals willing to come join. Situational factors apply, such as the reputation of Tarm and their current village. And we'll say a fumble on such a test results in a rather unhappy local business. Though repeated tests. There we go. Though, in some cases, this may be dangerous, which causes fumbles. Also on a roll ending in a 0. Perfect. Okay, that makes sense. So if you go to another town and the Lord already doesn't like you, the chances of it backfiring increase. Or if you go to another town that's doing particularly well and you take a bunch of blacksmiths, the dangers increase. And it will be a challenging opposed roll. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. Now we're on to, that's recruitment. Recruitment, underscore. Training can be done as an extended leadership test on a you know what, I'm going to actually change the five items. There we go. So training can be done as extended. Okay. Training can also be performed on locals or those wishing to improve their social standing. This will require a SL test of... Now I want to have a different difficulty based on the tier you are training for. SL test of an extended test, extended leadership test. Average. Extended leadership test average with an SL difficulty of... Now, what should we put for this? I'm thinking the... Yeah, okay. Let's have a look. An SL difficulty, I would say for an extended test, I might say 5 for a first tier. So it's slightly easier. Talak, there you go. First tier career. And 10 in addition. And 10 for a second. Note that you will have to train troops to be tier 1. And they will need some life experience before they can be trained into tier 2. I mean, that just a little bit of fluff, but 5 and 10, like, that's going to make training them pretty easy. I think it's either 5 and 10 or what other... It's silver 1 and silver 2. Does that seem too easy? I mean, on average, it's going to take 2 endeavours to do. So, just because most of our characters are going to be rolling against a... Hey, Panda! If we go here to Lothar, who will be doing most of it, and Wilfred's got very similar leadership. We just have a little look here. Guard training. We just have a look at the actual one. Leadership, leadership, leadership. He'll be rolling against a 66. So it'll be 2 endeavours on average, but if you're unlucky, it might be 3. I think I'm okay with that. 10 SL will be a harder test. Although you're also going to need a fair bit of money to make troops a higher rank. And you may need to train new troops every now and again if yours get destroyed, basically. Okay. Right, recruitment. Local smithies can also subsidise the cost of equipment, in which case the in which case, let's have a see. Any profits made from the industry. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, simple one for this. In which case, equipment for one individual can be... The cost of equipment is lowered by 50%. And purchased 1 item at a time from the blacksmith's profits. There we go. So you still might be easier to get some elsewhere. The thing is if you needed a suit of chainmail and a sword and a halberd and a shield to be made by a blacksmith, I'm not expecting them to pump out 5 suits of chainmail in a week, 5 halberds, 5 swords, and 5 shields. Like I know Talak will probably have some thoughts on that, but as far as I understand, it's not that quick to create reasonable quality stuff. And you're probably going to have, what, like 3 to 4 blacksmiths in town, 1 being in charge and a few being apprentices. So I think we'll have to have it based from their profits. So you can turn profits into gear, basically, but half the cost, because you still have to pay salaries and equipment. So that's still pretty generous, but it's going to mean it's pretty slow as well. But equally, you might need the money for other things. So actually, I'm going to make that a 40. 50 is just easier to do mathematically, so everything's half price bucket. That's fine. So recruitment we've done, and then we have basic militia untrained. Okay. This will require an extended test with a difficulty second. Note would have to turn through to groups of up to 10 can be trained at any given time. Okay. Town. Town guard, a town's town's garrison typically cannot exceed 5% of the total population. It's not a lot, I give you that. What's up, Roland? In Scandinavia and Germany, you're required by law to have a weapon. Yeah, like everyone has a dagger in this. Yeah, all farmers have a war axe, crossbow, and rifle. Nice. Nice. I think in this I'm going with everyone has a dagger, like that's a standard, because that's pretty much what the rules lay out. And I would say a lot of people have a weapon. It just might not be something of quality they can use as a town guard, let's say. So it might be a hoe or a pickaxe or something, or a handmade axe. But that might not be something that a watch recruit can use. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll put it as a 1 in 4 chance that they've got a suitable weapon. The town garrison typically cannot exceed 5% of the total population. Though this can increase beyond. It typically requires now. Yeah, the dung-covered peasant convention is that-a-way. Absolutely. Town's population, 5%. 5% is... I mean, they're basically not going to have much room for river wardens. 5% of the total population. I'm going to say 10% of the total population. Split between watch, river wardens, and sentry, and guard. 5% of the total population split watch and river wardens. Watch and river wardens. Typically, an additional allowance of 5 guard per noble and 1 per merchant family is added on top of this. So I think that's reasonable. So 5% of the town's population would mean that they're kind of going with 5, 10, 13 individuals that you can split between river wardens and guard and sentry. No, river wardens and sentry, but guards will be a separate thing, and guards will be assumed to be... I want to change this a tiny bit. 5 just seems a little bit limiting. Mind you, just increase the population again and everything will be fine. Of the total population in the area of the town. Okay, let me retype this so I'm happier with it. This 5% is split, is divided into town watch and town river warden. Guards. Guards are typically hired by nobles and merchant families, and their, let's say, funding. I think I might stick with that. I might stick with that for now. So basically you don't have to worry so much about guard. Like if you get a couple of merchants come to town, they'll bring a couple guard with them. Likewise, there'll be a capacity for guard just because of the noble's manor. Guards are typically hired by nobles and merchant families. 5 per noble and 1 per merchant on average. And their training, equipment, and salary is factored into the careers. Okay. So what we're going to say is that Sighard will have enough money to hire 5 guard, equipped and such, so that there will just be, he'll be able to fund 5 guard. 5 per noble, tier 2 plus, 1 per merchant, tier 3 plus, on average, and their training, equipment and salary is factored into their careers. What do you guys think about that? I'm not exactly happy with this. I'm not exactly happy with this. Let's get some thoughts with chat. I'll tell you what, guys, I'm just going to get a coffee, so I'll be right back, because, you know, I've just got over heartburn, so I'm going to clearly go and give myself some more. And, yeah, I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Alrighty then. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, so we have loads of ideas. It's all good, guys. It's all good. So let's have a little look. So guard. I've got a better way of doing this. And guard, but increased by +5 per noble family or merchant family. Noble family and +3 per merchant family. So there we go. So that basically means it would be 5%, which means they'll have 18 in total that can be split among guard, river warden, and sentries. So there may be no guards. That's hilarious. Good lord. Should we just put, so if there's no guards, that there's just automatic crime? Like, I just feel like that's such a disaster waiting to happen. Your town has no guards. They have sentries, though. But, There we go. I'll put a note. Note. Individuals moving... Okay, wealthy individuals moving into the town typically arrive with their own guard and servants. Pre-equipped. These are not... Okay, we don't need to say they're not factored in, but that makes sense for me. So if a noble family came to jump in the town, like, there'd just be another 5 guard. Yep. Then the boys roll in. All the boys. Alright. You may also travel to a nearby town to recruit. I think, honestly, that is probably all I need for recruiting, for just recruitment. Recruitment costs and armed troop training. Honestly, I think that's everything covered. So I can only think that we would have separate industries for guard, watchmen, and such troops. And defending a town. Let's create an entry. Tarm campaign defending a town. Okay. When a town is raided or attacked, the enemy is typically a small, medium, or large threat. This will determine the enemy's number. Small packs are typically 2d10. Raiders, medium, are 4d10, and large are 8d10. Though there have been some recent raids. No. Okay, let's have a think about this. Guards are there to be useless standing outside the door. That's very true. That's very true. When a town is raided or attacked, the enemy is typically... towns... Okay, well, let's start this again. Because I want this to make sense. Towns typically can be attacked... towns are typically attacked by small or medium raiding parties. When the raid event is rolled on an endeavor table, ta-da! An opposed test must be made by the assailants. Ah, this is going to be good. This is going to be good, because we can pick the basic stats of who's attacking them. Now we get some tables. Oh my god, we get tables. Okay. Towns are typically raided by raid or parties. When the raid event is rolled on the endeavour table, an opposed test must be made by the assailants. And SL wounds are taken. SL casualties are taken. Negative. negative SL casualties are taken by the defenders before driving them off. AP can help mitigate. Toughness, bonus, and armor will help mitigate the damage. Now, we need to actually have a think about this. Because I'm doing it on this is how many critical wounds are rolled. SL critical wounds are taken by the defending forces. That's what I was going to do. So it's not deaths, it's critical wounds. Each point of AP lowering the wounds by 1. Okay. Now, let me make... maybe I need to do an opposed test here to figure out how this will work. So we'll go with a guard. We'll just go with this guard. There you go. And we'll go with a Ungor. So if the Ungor rolls this... I need to visualize this test as it happens. Oh, okay. I need to go details, does damage. Right, try that again. That already does damage, good. So then we do an opposed test between the two. So the Ungor against you, and the damage is 8. The damage isn't relevant so much by 2 SL, so that would be 2 casualties inflicted, but they have 1 armor, so one of them dies during the raid. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. It's a bit of a shame because it takes away the importance of having enemies with, like, large enemies. That's going to be... Mind you, large enemy would be negative 2 SL to those defending. So actually this makes sense. Okay, when an event is rolled, it must be made, and then that many critical wounds are rolled. But critical wounds aren't really that dangerous. Like... If you go for... if we go table here and we just go for a bunch of crit body, crit body, crit body, crit body, crit body, there we go. So none of those are dead. So broken collarbone is the worst. So that fighter would be out of action. But the gut wound would be 2 bleeding conditions, I guess. So there would be a 20% chance that they die. Gut blow, gut wound. You know what? I like the cannon that it... I like the fluff that it adds. So I'll keep it. Okay, right. Criticals by 1. Okay. When the raid event is rolled on the Endeavour table, an opposed test maybe is made. Just lower the words. By the raiders versus the town's defenders. The resulting SL difference translates to critical wounds taken by the defending forces with 1 wound removed, mitigated by each point of AP there we go. Now, that's fine. 8d10 force. Yeah, I think I'm going to change that. Yeah, a large, yeah, a large army of 12 orcs. Firstly, for the test, modifiers such as fear, outnumbering, fear -10, large -2, -2 SL to defend. Still apply. There we go. There we go. I like this. I like this. Ranged attacks may also be made, though this can be challenging at night. Oh. Okay, okay, okay. Oh, this is going to get complicated. Right. Stealthy ambushes can be made, though without sufficient cover. Typically require a hard stealth test against a challenging perception test made by the town watch. Let's try this. Let's have a see. I need to get this right because this is going to be a fairly big mechanic. Oh, Philip, thank you for the donation. A speech from Mayor Sighard. Speech. Sorry, but it didn't flash up. Yeah, my bad, bro. I don't know if that was when I went downstairs for a Coke. Maybe not. Maybe it was. I don't know. But thank you very much, buddy. Right, let's have a look. Stealth ambushes can be made without sufficient cover. Under cover of nightfall, even without sufficient cover. Typically without cover, a difficult stealth test is made against a challenging perception test from the town watch. If the result is a failed perception, then the attackers, then the defenders will be rolling at a -20. There we go. There we go. It says on my feed 19 minutes. It says 19 minutes. I don't know. It says 19 minutes on my feed. So I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, right, so that's stealth. Other test modifiers also apply, such as outnumbering, fear, large, etc. Ranged attacks may also be made, though this can be challenging at night, with a -20 to hit. Okay. So, if the players desire, the Now, I don't want to start role-playing fights every single session, so we're just going to assume the players aren't doing this. Firstly, roll on the table. Enemy type. This will be 1d10, so we need a table, 2 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Doink. Right, there we go. And, oh, we need to add one more roll below, don't we? Row, insert row after. There we go. D10 roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Something large. This way comes. A monster has arrived. Has come down from the mountains. It's not so common, right? Okay, we'll do a D100 roll. Okay, so this will actually be 98 plus. That's not going to be nice at all, but Skaven Undead Bandits. Yeah, we'll definitely have bandits in here, so we'll have 1 to 10 will be goblins. Night goblins. Night goblins attack. 11 to 20 will be what else should we have? Beastmen. Ungor. Gore. Beastmen. Gore stats. Attack. 2d10, 2d10, 3d10. Okay, I kind of have a plan. Yeah, okay, I have a plan. Row. Column. After. Column. After. Right. 1 to 80. 81 to 100. Okay, so that will be 2d. How many would be 2d10? 2d10 goblins, and that will be 4d10. And this will be 2d10, and that will be 4d10. That would be horrible. 21 to brigands. Yeah, standard brigands. I like that. 21 to 30. Outlaws. Or perhaps something far worse. Outlaws. Pirates. Or something... or perhaps... cultists. 2d10? 4d10. Yeah, okay. So 31, sorry, to 35. No, we'll do this to 50. So this will be more common. Actually, let's make this to 20. There we go. That makes more sense. 21 to 30. They're less common right now, beastmen, so that's fine. 31 to 40, they're not going to be that common either. 41 to 50. 55 will be 2d10, 1d10, or 2d10 orcs. Right. What else are we going to go for here? I'm not going to put wood elves in. You keep more guards from showing up in the basement, Philip. So much hate. So much hate. I think that's probably all of the enemy types that we would want. 56 to 60. 70. 1d10, 2d10. What else can we have here? Zombies. 3d10 or 6d10. There you go. Why zombies? Ugh, don't ask. Ghouls. 1d10, 2d10, and then 4d10. Ghouls, river pirates. River pirates. 1d10, 2d10. I don't think we'll get 4d10 river pirates. That will be a smaller. Yeah, okay. We'll do that. We'll do that. Let's have a look. Because the river pirates would be opposed effectively only by the river wardens, whereas the rest would be opposed only by the town guard. You won't count the number of river wardens in the opposed test in numbers. So that'll be 71 to 80, 81 to 90, 91 to 95. 1, 2. Start next session. Waking up to find someone standing over your bed. 96 to 97. Oh, okay. That's fucking horrible. Okay, so I'm actually going to copy this one and make that less common. To 1 to 1d10. No, what do we want here? We've got one other thing that we can do. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? River pirates, ghouls. Have I missed anything familiar? Yeah, we're not particularly near a marsh, Isaac, although I do really want to include them. And the river gets return. Yeah, true. The river gets should be here, so they should be one of the most common, really. River gets. Unless they are dead. In which case, they aren't all dead. There you go. There you go. Night goblins, river gits, zombies, gore. Oh! Wyvern. A large enemy. A large enemy. What else are we going to do here? Angry neighbours. Oh, yes! Another troop. War has been declared. Another barony's troops. 2d10. 4d10. Start next session with... There we go. So not too common, but could happen. There we go. So we need to roll 2d100. So let's roll 1d100 first to see what we get. 1d100. And let's see how large the force is. 46, so that's orcs. And then we roll to see the size. That is medium, so 1d10 orcs. Why would someone declare war on you for no reason? Who says there's no reason? Who says there's no reason? The table doesn't tell you the reason. Hydra tells you the reason. Like, the chances of rolling this are infinitesimally small. But it's there, you know? It's there. This is mainly just a mechanic to, you know, see how things go. You're a nice guy. Yeah, sure. No one has ever wanted to kill a nice noble in their life. Sure. Campaign defending a town. I think the rules for that are pretty simple. You take your average troop and you roll. Oh, okay. Let's also put this stealth ambushes, raid. Firstly, roll on the table below. Okay, so what we're going to do. Okay, mitigated by each of the player heroes. One player PC may exchange one endeavour, mostly to recover, to pass a 5, 10, 15, 20 bonus, depending on their career level, to assist in the fight. There we go. Note. This has to be appropriate. Note, however, a -6 SL or greater may result in some busted armor, at the very least. Perhaps worse. Because I don't really want to just crit people outside of sessions and be like, oh yeah, you're fucked now. But equally, there needs to be a little bit of fluff. I mean, it should be... The problem is if a player's defending, it should be role-played out. Which, this is my problem with running such a thing like this, is like, you really shouldn't be doing any of this without the players there rolling their dice, because that's why they built the characters. Like, I'm aware of that. And yet, you kind of want to simulate a town which is under threat from something. Like, we'll probably never even get this goddamn event come up. Lols. But I am allowing players to use rerolls on the table. So leadership. Well, yeah, that would be how you assist. Would be with your leadership. So you can narrate however you assist. That's fine. Assist in the fight. Ah, here we go. If enough critical wounds... typically, critical wounds are applied to NPCs first. However, if there are more critical wounds than defenders, one will be also applied to the PC. Not mitigating. Note. Technically, you shouldn't be able to burn armor to that. Note, can't burn armor for this, as it's effectively you going to 0 wounds. I'm gonna see about like that would be super rare, but it would be like I can't see a situation where that would happen. Let me have a think. I can't really see a situation where that will happen, because if the fight is hard enough, we'll just start the next session with it. So it would be like if you chose to lead some troops against if you chose to lead some troops against 20 orcs that came out the woods, and everyone was like, no, we won't do this next session. And it would be like, okay, but this is the rules. If you get minus 6 SL overall, no, not that. Like, if you had 5 troops with you, you would have to have minus 6 SL. It's so rare. Like, no, it's fine. It's fine as a rule because it won't happen. But if it does, it's just a critical wound. No one will die. But to lose a resilience point... Okay, I've got this. Can't burn armor. Going to 0. Applied. One will also be applied to the totals. Re-roll. Re-rolling 80 or above. There you go. So it's 1 non-lethal critical wound, which to me then seems fair. Because obviously if it's non-lethal, they don't have to burn a resilience point, which is okay. Do you know the odds of rolling 3 witch hunter anomalies? It's not 0, no, but it's very close to it. It was 1 in 2,500, I believe. And yet you did it anyway, just to spite me. Right, so Endeavour events, we're going to go down. I have now over 100 of these. Raid! Ring the bells. Ring them. Ring them louder. Call to arms. We are under attack. See defending a town. Journal entry. Update 311 to 320. Slightly higher than the others, so that is a 3% chance of being rolled. There are 5 good ones and 99 horrible. This is Warhammer, mate. What do you expect? Oh, wow, this random table's not being nice to me. Go play your D&D, you damn nerd. Gotta laugh. Yeah, Warhammer is just like constantly punch your players until they have lost the will to live. Hilarious, hilarious. Sunshine and roses. Absolutely. Sunshine and roses. There you go, mate. Sunshine and roses for you. Sunshine and roses. You were gifted a rose from a potential admirer. From a secret admirer. There you go. Job done. D023. There we go. Update that. Lovely jubbly. Oh, that's looking good now. It's looking good. Yeah, Philip put some positive ones on as well. Should we roll a few and see what we get? Roll the table. Roll the table. Old debt. You have a major or significant favour called in. Dealing with the favour will be part of your next adventure, and you lose one endeavour in preparation for what is to come. Yeah, I like that one. Moor's Embrace. One of your character's relatives, friends, or allies dies. I swear, there's some really good ones. Oh, that's hilarious. Ah, that's hilarious. A shrine to Y within the town has recently been erected. Giggity. Thanks to the funding of X. A priest of Y has heard of this and has come to lend their aid. For now, they will live within the town. There you go. Your town gains a random priest. Reich and Pike have been caught being dicks. Okay. Betrayed. A friend or family member or ally turns on you. Standard. Like, this is just standard. You meet a local who is currently a chicken strapped to his bottom. He insists that sores can be cured by plucking a live chicken and strapping its bottom to any sores. Yep. Some of the town's Jaegers went missing and were later found dead. Any investigator may make an easy trade test as part of an income endeavour to figure out what killed them. In the meantime, the locals have been spooked by this, and many are too scared to forage. You have recently become privy to a huge financial debt that exists between two noble houses. Though there was a gentleman's agreement to pay the loan back over a reasonable timeline, there has now been a call to repay the entire debt without warning or reasoning. You have been asked to assist in the dispute. Laundry day. Everyone hanging their sheets and dirty shirts out to dry. Presumably a woman has mixed hers up with yours. Passing an average gossip test will help you track down the lady and return your clothes. Otherwise, you now have a very pretty new frock. I love these. Are just great. These are just great. I'm really happy with this. Really happy with this. This table's neat. I like this. One something massive. This way comes. A monster has come down from the mountains. It's enormous. There you go. You found a silver in your mine event. That could boost you. Yeah, exactly. That was, I hate to say it, Philip, that's been there for the entire campaign. Just no one rolled it. But that is quite hilarious. Right, here we go. Lovely jubbly. Right, so that's done. The raid event is done. It won't kill a player, but it could be really rough. Most of the time we would probably play it out. 2d10 orcs, though. Like, if we did... Roll 2d10 orcs would be... Oh my god, 17 orcs? That is your town fucked. Eeks. Bro. Ugh. I don't like that. That is rough. That is so rough. 17 orcs. attack your town. I mean, if you've got yeomen there, it might all go okay, but welcome to trying to defend a town, basically. I would probably give a bonus against the orcs if, like, yeah, you could get a round of shooting at them first and some other stuff. But basically, if you roll a large enemy, we're going to play it out, because it'll just be like a frickin' lols fight, and it would be great. But 17 is ridiculous. Good lord. Ugh. Right, okay, so that's enough memes for today. We've gone through the town, we've done some stuff here, pretty happy with this. Jesus, we've been live for 3 hours. I think we're pretty good. Ooh, that's a nice one, Thor. I'm not adding any right this second. I just want to I just need to show you your Strigani camp. How do you feel about your Strigani camp? This is your Strigani camp. Make it a 30-70 mix of orcs and gobbos. Still tough, but you know, gobbos. Yeah, exactly. That's reasonable, Isaac. That's reasonable. Because otherwise it's ridiculous. Yeah. I'd probably put 5 orcs and 12 goblins in there, because that's still absolutely ridiculous. Is that the centre of town? No, mate. It's not the centre of town. It's the centre of somewhere. If you want to move them, you're going to have to try and move it. I mean, if you can convince Strigani to move somewhere else, you're a brave man. It kind of happened in a stream yesterday. It kind of happened. Stone walls. The Strigani stole them. I deleted them because they look dumb. But they can still be there canonically. Just, it's now Strigani. It was just a thing. It was just a thing. But it seems to make so much sense, you know. But yeah, the walls here in some random shape just looked really ugly. So I think if we put the walls back, I'll make like a nice square or something that looks a little bit neater. Do you even have control over anything? You used to reinforce a palisade. I mean, that makes sense. So yeah, I'm just trying to picture where this would be. Drawing tools, probably like... Oh, you can't do it that way, can you? Draw a polygon. I'd probably do it like that. Nah, maybe not. Maybe not. From there to there to there. Like that's a nice plot of land right there. I mean, if you like, the Strigani basically came down, pulled down one of the walls to make an entrance, and now they're inside. I mean, it can still go there. That's where the Garden of Moor's going to go. Oi, you'll just have to negotiate with them to move. They're Strigani, mate. If there is a spare bit of land that you want for something, that's where they're going to set up camp. And they will be negotiated with, clearly. I'm sorry, but it's just too funny to not happen. There are permanent people in town. I mean, they were semi-permanent anyway. No, I mean, the reality is they'll probably just go after a period of time. They rarely stay in the same place for long, but they have been around Tarm for like the past 6 months, so... also, they kind of saved most of your town folk, so, you know, you kind of owe them a little bit for that. Your civilians were being slaughtered, and thanks to Gilda and a handful of Strigani and a guy wearing black armour, the majority of your town folk in the civilian district are not dead. lovely. Lovely jubbly. Lovely jubbly. Let me just roll a random D100. I like doing this because this makes players nervous every now and again. Just do this. Hey, there we go. A double. Oh, that's cool. I like that. Cool. Well, that's wonderful, darling. What we'll do, I think that's actually everything we need for now. I think that's everything we need. The map is looking sexy. Like, I like the map. You like this? You like a little bit of this? Training ground over here. We've got a temporary warehouse that's basically just, that's wood, because loads of wood everywhere, all the wood. A few little ramparts put in place. A couple of buildings didn't make it. Herbalist still in town. Empty bailiff office. Empty workshop. Empty townhouse and empty townhouse. So you've got one empty workshop. I would say that we do have in the journal, we have Tarm campaign building construction. We have a little guide here of how to build stuff. So if you want to kit out an empty workhouse, it will actually only cost you an empty workshop 30 gold crown. And you would then have a blacksmith. 30 gold crown for a blacksmith, not bad. But you've only got one empty workshop currently, unless you kick out someone. Or you can build some more. Carpenters Guild, you could kick out the carpenters. You could convert the rat hole. Anyway, guys, I'm going to scoot here. Probably going to play some Hunt Showdown in a bit, but I'll probably do that off of stream because we keep ending up with about 3 viewers. So I've learned my lesson. All right, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope this has been fairly enjoyable, and no, I hope it's been really enjoyable. We've made some rules for town management, and actually quite happy with them. I dare say it's going okay. It's going okay. Using one of the empty buildings for your office. Why don't you use this one? Well, just before we finish up. Empty townhouse over here. Sorry, there is a second workshop here. Potentially. So you've got 2 workshops you can build for cheap. 30 gold crown apiece. Actually quite affordable. No, stream it. So you've got an empty townhouse here, which you could stay in. Other side of town, next to the miner's pick. Empty workshop and servants' quarters. Most of the servants have left town. Or you have an empty townhouse over here. So 2 empty townhouses are available, and yeah, that's that really. Or you could go in the bailiff office. Everyone would love you then. All right, toodle pip, guys. Thank you very much for stopping on by. I'll speak to you soon.